When you are saving a Flash file, you are frequently saving this to its own HTML page. And you set that right up here, go back up here to Publish Settings. And on Format, this is where you make that choice. If you save just the Flash file, it's going to be a standalone Flash file. It's not going to be sitting inside any web page. If you are using a web development program such as Macromedia's Dreamweaver, which is my personal favorite, you can then embed your SWF file, your Flash player file, using Dreamweaver right into one of your pages. Real easy to do. Now if you want Flash to create a page for you, you'll need to choose the HTML checkbox right here. You'll also notice that I have default names set up, and that's checked right down below. The default name uses the name of the file. This right here, the name is logo01 FLA, FLA being a Flash file, and then the extension over here for file type. Now you can set your own name on these things. Just uncheck default names, and then you can name these whatever you want to name these. I'd recommend, of course, leaving your extensions as they are, but you can change any of the names. Once you have the HTML choice made, you'll see that we gain an HTML tab over here. You see the same thing on any one of these additional choices, and we're going to go through all of these, except of course for those two, which are projectors, and we'll look at projectors later. But let's take a look here at the HTML setting. Now in this case we're talking about saving this with an HTML page. So we would want to pick a template here and look for a few things. Now if we were saving this as Flash 6, which would be here on our Flash settings, let's go to Flash 6. So I'm saving it as Flash 6. So we want to detect for Flash 6. Now if you click on Info, there's a little bit of information here. You notice here he has, if Flash Player 6 or above does not exist, an image alternative will be loaded. So we can save an image that will be used in place of this Flash file if they cannot play this Flash file. It's always a good idea to detect for the version of Flash that you're using. Another way to do this would be to set this up in Dreamweaver, and if Flash isn't detected, have a link for downloading Flash. Now if we're looking for this and we are looking for showing an image instead of the Flash player, if we don't have Flash player, let's go back to Formats and let's choose an image at the same time. This way we'll save an image and it can use that image. Now we can match the dimensions of our movie. We can set specific pixels, or we can set a percentage. I would always recommend on your percentage to decrease as opposed to increase. You end up with a cleaner file that way, a cleaner image, if you're decreasing when you change your percentage. If you increase, there's a chance that you may gain some artifacts. Although Flash being predominantly vector-based graphic, it should expand to a larger percentage fairly well. But if you have bitmap images in there, they may not expand as well as your vector graphic images. So be careful of your percentage. I always prefer to decide on what size I want my final film to be, and I will build my film at that size and then simply match movie at this point. We of course can set some playback settings here: pause at start, display menu, use a device font. We can set our different quality settings here. I would always start with a high quality, see what size your file ends up being, and then adjust at that point. You can set up in a window or an opaque windowless or transparent windowless. Let's just leave this in window. We'll leave it default, which is centered. And we'll leave that also on default. So some very basic settings here in the HTML. Nothing really dramatic. Flash is pretty straightforward on all of its publishing and saving functions.